Good evening to our viewers watching on television and those joining us online across our social media platforms. I am Madana Doric with the Tuesday, March 31st edition of the Guyana TV9 News. In the headlines tonight, Judge my government by results. Minister Manikchand tells East Rumbelt residents. U.S. signals military readiness as ICJ nears decisive ruling on Essequibo dispute. GBTI to appeal High Court ruling over closure of WIN candidates' accounts. And strict tint enforcement starts tomorrow, April 1. Minister urged final compliance. As the ICJ nears a definitive ruling on the Essequibo dispute, the United States is intensifying its support for Guyana, signaling a readiness to intervene if tensions with Venezuela boil over. With the region's massive oil reserves at stake, Washington's pivot from diplomatic observer to active ally marks a critical turning point in the territorial standoff. More in this report. Speaking on the Sources program, U.S. Ambassador Nicole Tarria delivered a blunt assessment of the case and its likely outcome.
We stand by your side against any threats from Venezuela. Luckily, those have calmed a bit since our January 3rd operation there. But we continue to be vigilant, and should you need our help, we are here.
Her remarks underscored growing international confidence in Guyana's legal position. The long-running dispute now before the ICJ centers on a vast resource-high region that Venezuela continues to claim, despite Guyana's administration of the Essequibo for more than a century. But Washington is not just waiting on the court. The ambassador made it clear that once the ruling is handed down, the U.S. is prepared to move decisively, particularly on maritime security. So as soon as that happens, that will trigger our ability to assist on the maritime border, she said.
You all are part of our coalition, the Shield of the Americas, and together we're going to work with Guyana and the other 11 signatories to that coalition to counter transnational crime, to address these narco traffickers that are just a scourge on all of our societies, and to continue to, of course, defend the sovereignty of Guyana.
Harriet outlined plans to deepen defense cooperation with Guyana, focusing on advanced surveillance and security technologies to strengthen the country's ability to monitor and protect its air and maritime domains. She also highlighted Guyana's growing role in a wider regional security initiative, reinforcing collaboration on intelligence, crime fighting, and defense efforts across nations aligned against transnational threats. The United States has consistently backed Guyana's stance in the territorial dispute with Venezuela, with senior American officials warning Caracas against any miscalculation or attempt to alter the status quo as tensions over the disputed region persist. Adana Doric, Guyana TV9 News. As the 3-month amnesty period expires today, Minister of Home Affairs Unich Waldron has confirmed that strict enforcement of new vehicle tint standards begins tomorrow. The updated Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Tint Regulations 2025 replace years of zero tolerance with clear, permissible light transmission limits for all motorists. Here's more. According to the minister, the new regulations now allow all vehicles to have window tint, provided they stay within specific limits. The requirements for a waiver have been completely removed, making the process simpler for motorists. Unlike the previous restrictive rules, the updated system is designed to make compliance easier and more straightforward for everyone.
I don't believe that for the majority of the persons, they recognize that this new regime is that tint is permissible for everyone. And most persons recognize when they get their vehicles checked that the 20 and 25 is more than enough tint that they need. In fact, there's some persons who even had 30 quite above, below the numbers that is permissible.
She noted that most drivers already understand the practical limits of window tint. According to the minister, when vehicles are checked, tints between 20 and 25% are more than enough for most drivers' needs. These levels provide privacy and sun protection without compromising safety or visibility. However, some drivers have gone beyond the allowable limits, installing tints at 30% or higher. Minister Waldron pointed out that while this exceeds the permissible numbers, many feel that their current levels of tint is adequate for their needs. She stressed that everyone should be aware of the official limits to avoid unintentional violations.
So beyond, in what I mean to say is that the numbers that were permissible that they are currently using, they're actually above that permissible limit, meaning that they feel that they're operating with enough tin that they need. So that is for everyone to recognize that it's permissible tint is allowed for everyone. The previous regime, it was not allowed.
The minister also highlighted the importance of recognizing the difference between the old and new systems. Under the previous rules, an exemption was required to legally tint windows, creating extra steps and paperwork for vehicle owners. The new regulations removed this requirement, making compliance easier and more straightforward. Minister Walwyn urged motorists to take note of the changes and adjust accordingly. Tinting is now legally permitted for all, but only within the specific limits. She encouraged drivers to ensure their vehicles meet the legal standards, reminding them that the exemption process is no longer needed and that the new regime aims to simplify and clarify vehicle tinting regulations for everyone. Adana Dora, Guyana TV9 News. We will be back after the short break. Stay tuned.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by June 30, 2026 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. How to apply for registration? You must visit the GCOM registration office that is responsible for your area of residence to apply for registration, name change, or correction. You must have the following source documents as might be relevant: original birth certificate or valid Guyana passport for new registration, original marriage certificate and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by marriage, original deed poll and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by deed poll, original naturalization certificate and original birth certificate or valid passport in the case of naturalization. This registration exercise will end on May 29, 2026. You need to apply for a transfer if you now live at a different address than the one you were registered at. For more information, contact GCOM on 225-02-7729 or visit www.gcom.org.gy. GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by June 30, 2026 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. It is the civic duty and legal responsibility of all Guyanese who meet the eligibility criteria to apply for registration. By so doing, you will be ensuring that you are issued a national identification card and be included in the official list of electors for future elections, provided you meet all eligibility criteria. This registration exercise will end on May 29, 2026. You need to apply for a transfer if you now live at a different address than the one you were registered at. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-02-7729 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. You're watching the Guyana TV9 News Bulletin. GBTI has launched an appeal against a high court ruling that found the bank acted in bad faith when it abruptly terminated the accounts of 4 WIN party candidates. While the court dismissed broader claims of political discrimination, the bank is seeking to overturn the finding of a contractual breach, arguing that it acted responsibly to protect the financial system. Here's more.
The decision, delivered on Monday by High Court Judge Nicole Pierre, involved 3 WIN candidates whose accounts were shut due to alleged financial risks linked to Azruddin Mohammed, an individual sanctioned by the Office of Foreign Assets Control (OFAC) of the United States Department of Treasury. The closures prompted claims from the candidates that the bank's actions were unjust and discriminatory, raising concerns about transparency and fairness in the handling of politically sensitive accounts. While the court awarded the candidates nominal damages and costs, it dismissed the majority of their claims, including accusations of discrimination. According to the ruling, GBTI acted within its rights to mitigate potential financial risks, though the court acknowledged procedural issues that warranted minimal compensation to the affected candidates. In response, GBTI has confirmed that it intends to challenge specific aspects of the ruling, emphasizing its commitment to maintaining rigorous compliance with international financial regulations. The bank's planned appeal indicates that 4 the legal proceedings are likely, with implications not only for the candidates involved, but also for how financial institutions in Guyana handle politically exposed persons and accounts linked to sanctioned individuals. Political analysts suggest that the case could set an important precedent for banking practices in the country, highlighting the complex intersection between financial regulation, politics, and legal accountability. As the matter moves to a higher court, stakeholders from both the banking and political sectors are closely monitoring developments. Melanie Morris, Guyana TV9 News.
Relentless rainfall swept across Ghana from Thursday, March 26 to Monday, March 31st, 2026, leaving rising waters in its wake and the testing resilience of communities across multiple regions. As flood waters crept into homes, farmlands, and roadways, the Civil Defense Commission, CDC, moved swiftly to keep the nation informed and prepared.
The Civil Defense Commission, CDC, activated its Emergency Operations Center, EOC, as flooding intensified, deploying teams to monitor water levels, assess damage, and coordinate response efforts with local authorities. An aerial survey conducted last Sunday by the CDC, the Guyana Defense Force, and the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, NDIA, confirmed ongoing flooding across regions 3, 4, and 5. Affected areas include sections of the East Coast, parts of the West Coast, and Ogle. In Georgetown, floodwaters have mostly receded, with only minor pooling remaining in some areas. However, conditions are more severe in agricultural zones. Farmlands in Mahaika, Maikoni, and Canal Polder remain heavily flooded, raising concerns about crop losses and farmer livelihoods. Authorities report the drainage systems are functioning with pumps in operation and maintenance ongoing. No overtopping or conservancy dams has been recorded and infrastructure remains stable. But relief efforts are underway with the government of Guyana and the CDC distributing cleaning hampers and sanitation supplies to affected residents in regions 3, 4, and 5. Supplies have already been distributed in communities including East of Penitence, Alboiston, and East and West Rhymeveld, with additional support being channeled through regional and local councils. The CDC says it remains on alert and continues to monitor the situation, urging residents to stay cautious and report flooding as response operations continue.
We will be back after the short break. Stay tuned.
Want to place your death announcements and in memoriam messages on Channel 9? Call 592-761-5006, 710-5008-600-5006, or visit our office at Lot 85A Lamaha Street, Albertown, Georgetown, Century 21 Building.
Guyana, Channel 9 is now Guy TV9, proudly under new management. We're building stronger with a balanced and open platform for all advertisers. Whether you're promoting a business, service, or event, your message belongs right here. So choose your spot, news, prime time, or anytime, and reach viewers across Guyana. With affordable rates and professional service, Guy TV9 is your partner in progress. So visit us at Lot 21A, Lamaha Street, Georgetown, in the Century 21 building, or call 600-5006 or 761-5006. Guyana TV9. New leadership, fresh outlook, real results.
Welcome back. You're watching the Guyana TV9 News Bulletin. In a blunt and direct address to residents of East Rhymeveld, Honorable Manik Chun, Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, made it clear that the government intends to be judged not by words, but by results.
The minister told the gathering that they should expect to see projects carried out exactly as promised, with officials returning to communities to complete and deliver on commitments.
You're going to see us coming back. You're going to see us doing, and they got this fancy thing, they said the proof of the pudding is in the eating. What I really mean is, when you see we and you could feel we, is when you're gonna believe us. Don't make sense I stand up here and tell you and persuade you. I expect you to see me here or workers here doing exactly what we tell you you're gonna do. And when we come back to cut the ribbon, I expect you to stand up and say, I see you come back and you cut this ribbon and you're cutting it with me.
Rejecting lengthy speeches, she said it is easy for politicians to promise improvements and the good life, but far harder to follow through. Without naming opponents, she criticized those who, she said, are very good at talking but fail to act. Minister Mani Chand emphasized that her administration will not only announce projects but ensure they are completed, pointing to ongoing and planned works around Georgetown, including East and West Rheinfeldt, Lane Avenue and Leopold Street.
It's very easy to come and tell you all the good things. It's very easy to come and promise you the good life. You remember them promises? It's very easy to come and tell you things will get better. Because some people are very good at talking, but they're not good at action. We are a government that does talk and that does act and does come back in and make sure we're seeing that you are benefiting from our actions.
She said the government expects accountability from itself and partnership from citizens, urging residents to support and encourage development efforts as works expand nationwide. She pointed to the Easter season as a reminder of hope and kept promises, telling residents that her government intends to deliver on what it has pledged throughout the year. Melanie Morris, Guyana TV9 News.
Turning to regional news, at least 70 people were killed and 30 wounded today after gang members stormed rural communities near Pipit River in Haiti's Arbonaite region. The attackers set fire to homes and vehicles, forcing over 6,000 residents to flee in a massive wave of displacement. This masquerade marks a brutal expansion of gang violence into Haiti's agricultural heartland. Regional leaders and right groups are calling for immediate intervention as emergency teams struggle to reach the area. Internationally, gas prices in the United States have surged past $4 per gallon for the first time in nearly 4 years, hitting an average of $4.02 on Tuesday. This sharp jump comes just weeks after the outbreak of the US-Israeli war on Iran sent shockwaves through global oil markets since the conflict began on February 28. Pump prices have skyrocketed more than 30%, mirroring the last spike seen in August 2022 after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The crisis intensified when Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping lane responsible for transporting roughly one-fifth of the world's oil supply. Fears of a prolonged shortages sent crude prices soaring. Those are our major headlines for tonight's newscast. For more trending stories, follow us at our Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube platforms at GUI TV9. I'm Madonna Dark. Thanks for watching.